All right, so first of all, I'd like to welcome everybody. First day of Dr. Weiner Wellness Week, holiday special. So hopefully everybody had a good holiday, good Thanksgiving. Didn't eat too much, okay? So my name is Mike Gallagher. First of all, anybody here for the first time? Okay, yes, it happened, okay. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so we have these events typically every 2 months. But we go for the next time will be in March. First weekend in March will be our next Dr. Weiner Wellness Week, okay, because of the weather. Typically, though, they're every 2 months from that point on, every 2 months. So, of course, we have free food, free literature, free samples, all kinds of goodies, and, of course, we're running some amazing specials and discounts on things. So please, these are very aggressive discounts. Please take advantage and factor in how many you'll need till the next Weiner Wellness event. That's why you see a lot of people stocking up and so forth. Okay, so my name is Mike Gallagher. I'm a certified lifestyle educator. Okay, I have been in the nutritional industry for almost 20 years. I work with all different types of doctors, all different types of modalities. Okay, I'm only here during these wellness events to help answer questions. There aren't too many questions I have not run across in those 20 years. And again, I work with all different types of specialties. So medical doctors, DOs, chiropractors, pharmacists, nutritionists, homeopaths, kinesiologists, naturopaths. I work with all of them. And all of them look at health in a little bit different way. Okay, but the same goal in mind, get your body to heal itself, get it to function better. And over time, if you're combining with proper food, proper diet, proper stress reduction, which is why we're talking about this one right here, we can have some miraculous, amazing events occur. And one of the great things about what I do is I pretty much hear something miraculous almost every day. Almost every day. Work with hundreds of doctors in the area. So if you want to find one of those doctors, come see me afterward. If your own doctor's interested in learning about nutrition and is open to listening, I will be happy to go see them. So come see me afterward as well, okay? But today, Dr. Weiner wanted me to talk about your adrenals. Your adrenals. And this is a major problem. So many different health conditions are associated with stress, but this is your main one associated with stress. And our main formula for this is called Adrena Max 2. And so you might be wondering what happened to Adrena Max 1. Well, as technology is always improving, and as we're working with all different types of doctors, when we were using the previous formula, a lot of, some of the doctors said, you know what, this is good, but I think we can make it better. And we work with one doctor in the Pittsburgh area who specializes in adrenal fatigue. And he helped develop this formula with us. So it's a collaboration. So we're always open to listening. We're always open to new ideas, new strategies, new ways to help people. And this is one of those examples of this formula right here, Adrena Max 2. So when we take a look at your adrenal glands is your stress gland, is your stress hormone, okay? So they're basically two small pyramid-shaped glands atop your kidneys, two parts, cortex, which is your outer, and your medulla, which is your inner. Now, your medulla responds to your acute stress. Basically, again, your fight or flight. If we're being attacked, you'll have this particular medulla, your inner, react, and you have that adrenaline rush, right? That's where this really affects. But it's also, infections also affect this part. Then you have your cortex, which produces your cortisol and your other types of hormones. And also, I should go back to the medulla, also produces epinephrine and norepinephrine as well, okay? So you have multiple things going on all at the same time, but all this is due to your adrenal glands. So, of course, this modulates or brings into balance your stress response, okay? It also helps with blood pressure as well. Most people do not know that your adrenal glands can really help with blood pressure. And what most people have never heard of is that this actually affects your sex hormones. So we have other supplements that can raise your testosterone, and we have other supplements that can rebalance estrogen and progesterone and things of this sort, okay? But if we do not take a look at your sex hormones, if we don't look at your adrenals, we could be missing a very important piece of the puzzle, okay? So your adrenals plays a huge role in the production of your sex hormones. So, very, very important. In fact, there's how it's all broken down. DHEA, which we sell by itself, we have it in a liquid or a capsule, is the strongest thing that we can legally sell over the counter without a prescription. Okay? But you can see how the whole pathway of your sex hormones there, and again, it all starts with your adrenal glands. So with the cortisol, you have 2 components there. One part, right, is your glucocorticoid there that raises blood sugar. Again, that's part of that fight or flight response. And then we also very important for your anti-inflammatory components. So there is some benefit of cortisol. Just some people produce way too much of it for too long periods of time, and then that has all these different negative health issues that we'll talk about here in a moment. But anti-inflammatory benefits, it inhibits histamine, helps with lymphocyte production, helps with macrophage, and also helps in the stomach, gastric acid production, also due to cortisol. All right, now if we were to go see a conventional medical doctor, they do not recognize the term adrenal fatigue, okay? In the medical journals, there's actually nothing about adrenal fatigue. So to them, it's either too high or too low. And these are the classic medical conditions for adrenals. So one is called Cushing syndrome, which is an excess of cortisol. This is caused in the pituitary, overdose of hydrocortisone. You have all these different type of symptoms, immune deficiency, a moon type face, purple striations or stretch marks, osteoporosis, diabetes are some of your common symptoms of Cushing's. Then you have to go in the opposite direction, where you're extremely deficient. This is known as Addison's disease, okay? Again, an issue going on in your pituitary, okay? And then you have the other, hypoglycemia, muscle weakness, low testosterone, things of this sort are associated with that. So a medical doctor is very black and white. Either you have these issues or you don't. And we know the world is a lot of gray, right? So that's why we use the term adrenal fatigue. So you can have adrenal deficiencies without actually having Cushing's or Addison's disease. But that is how the medical doctor perceives things and looks at things. And again, I'm not here to bash medical doctors, but again, medical doctors only know 2 things, medications and surgery. That's all their training is, that's all their schooling is, okay? They were never taught about nutrition. 99.9% of them never learned a nutritional, took one nutritional class in med school and have never taken a nutritional class since med school, but I love it when they're trying to tell you about nutrition, when they've never taken a class. And don't be afraid to ask them politely, respectfully, that question. Yeah, doc, when was the last time you took a nutritional class? Okay, there's a way to say things nicely without offending them. Okay? Okay. Stress, the biggie. Obviously, we all have stress in one way, shape, or form. Some people handle stress better than others. Okay? And here is exactly how stress, the whole mechanics of this, affects your adrenals and leads to all these other health issues that are going on. So we said, long-term stress elevates cortisol, okay? As long as that stress continues, then this will cause usually symptoms of fatigue and irritability, okay? Which again is continuously raising that cortisol, which becomes habitual. Then that leads to an impairment of the HPA axis, and this is your hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, which is, again, it's a very delicate, balanced situation going on, but if you're going one way with the cortisol, that causes the tipping point to occur over time. That accelerates aging. And again, I always use the example of presidents. When they take the first day they get into the White House, they take a photo and you see them 4 years later and they look like they aged 20 years, right? That's a classic example of stress, okay? Then what happens, it affects your circadian rhythm, which is your sleep cycle. So typically if you have adrenal fatigue, you have high cortisol, elevated cortisol in the evening period of time, so you have trouble sleeping. Okay, so you're up, you're still up and you're wired, you're still like extreme difficulty sleeping, and then your cortisol in the morning is very low, so you feel very tired and groggy even though you couldn't sleep and having trouble sleeping. So again, this is classic adrenal fatigue. So if you have low energy levels, but yet you still are having trouble sleeping, it's an adrenal issue. And that's the number one question that I would ask somebody if they tell me they have low energy. I always ask them, do you have trouble sleeping? And if they say yes, then it's an adrenal issue. Okay, if they say no, then we go on to something else. It's another issue altogether. Okay, so then the high cortisol over time can cause weight gain, blood pressure, anxiety, agitation, affects your immune system, okay? And so all this, you compile all this into a whole big mess, big storm. So fatigue, collapse, depression, on and on and on it goes, which leads to adrenal insufficiency. So that's how it's all connected. That's how it's all connected. Does that make sense to everybody? And of course, holiday season can be very festive, or it can be very stressful, even more stressed holidays. Of course, especially when you're trying to run over each other at the shopping mall, right? As well. So just getting a parking spot can be stressful during the holidays. So we tried to come out with the formula to get you the fastest, quickest results, and that's what the Adrena Max is all about, okay? Adrena Max is our number one thing. So if you're only going to take one thing, it would be the Adrena Max. So I'm just going to pass that around for you to see. Check it out. So this is going to tonify your adrenal glands. It's going to bring them back into balance, which is what we're trying to do. It's going to nourish them. Whether you're hyper or hypo, it's going to balance. And that's another thing. This is an old herbal-based formula. There are some supplement companies out there that use glandulars. And if you use glandulars for adrenals, you have to know where you are, if you're hyper or hypo. And some glandulars work if you're hyper. Some work better if you're hypo. Okay? With herbals, it does not matter. It rebalances. And that's the beautiful thing about this. So this takes a lot of the guesswork out for people as well. Because if you use the wrong glandulars, it'll really make you even worse. So it's very, very important on that, which we call an adaptogenic. Herbals are adaptogen. Whether you're high or low, it'll balance. Helps with the stress, of course. Helps with all different types of lifestyle changes. We always want to work on lifestyle changes, of course. We'll talk about that more in the brochure on that. But again, these are your common ones, all different types. I always start with deep breathing exercises because it's the simplest and easiest thing to do for stress. And what I mean by that is just find a dark room, no noise, or wear earplugs if you have to, okay? Close your eyes, count to 10, hold your breathe in, and then count to 10, breathe out, okay? Just start with 1 minute. Then the next day, try 2 minutes. Next day, try 3 minutes. Just breathe in, breathe out, relax. It works. Doesn't cost you a penny. Okay? But you got to do it. You got to find that time for you to decompress. Again, we all have busy lives. We know that. You have to find time to be able to do this for yourself. Otherwise, it's going to be much harder. But yoga, meditation, hypnotherapy, we work with a great professional hypnotherapist in Cranberry. If you need a reference on that, we can give you his name on that. Biofeedback, prayer, journaling, counseling, all of these things are helpful and beneficial. Obviously, find something you enjoy to do. This should not be painful or grueling, causing more stress. Exactly. So again, try to find what works best for you in your situation, in your environment. But what's in Adrena Max that makes it so special? Here are the ingredients on here. Cordyceps, ginseng, Laurithococcus, ashwagandha, rhodiola, and glyceraz. So some of these things you might have heard of, some of these things you might, but all of these have research to help balance out stress. Some of these herbs have been used for thousands and thousands of years, okay? And I always say, well, if it's lasted that length of time, something must be working, right, on that. So a lot of these have very similar mechanisms, just with a different ingredient. Cordyceps is actually a mushroom found in China. Again, it's been shown to help with energy, sexual function, athletic performance, helps with immune. Panax ginseng, also known as Chinese or Asian ginseng. Again, very similar results. Helps with immune, lowers blood sugar, helps with libido, helps with physical and intellectual performance. The Laurithococcus is also known as Siberian ginseng. Okay, so we're using two different types of ginseng. Again, mood, attention, stress tolerance, been used for over 2,000 years. There's also research on this now with cancer patients, chemotherapy, cardiovascular disease as well. Ashwagandha, another type of relaxing tonic, native to Sri Lanka and India and Africa. Again, helps with all long-term stress, both acute and chronic. It's been shown helps with insomnia again. So you can see the connection when we're talking about all these different types of issues. Inflammatory disease as well. Rhodiola helps with endurance, cognitive function. So again, thinking clearly. So ADD, OCD, this was fabulous for. Okay, we've had great results with that. Immune, weight loss, athletic performance, energy again. Glyceraz, this is deglycerized licorice, and this is not what you would buy at Twizzlers. This is a different type of licorice. Okay, this is licorice root. This is an herb. Okay, but again, helps with recovery, helps with cortisol, blocks leukotrienes. It's an anti-inflammatory, so the inflammation connection with stress. He also helps with the digestive tract, used in healing of the lining of the GI tract, which is why we use it in another one of our formulas, our GI Complete as well, because again, a lot of people, that stress affects them in their stomach as well. So multiple benefits there. Antiviral, antioxidant as well on that. Here's how we dose Adrena Max, and this is not on the flyer, so you might want to write this down so you know how to take this properly. Okay, so the bottle will say something. We have to give very general, generic terms on the labels, thanks to our good friends at the Food and Drug Administration. So this is how we dose this to get the max benefit of Adrena Max. So the first week, 3 capsules in the morning, 3 capsules at lunchtime. So 6 a day. 6 a day. You should notice tremendous amount of energy, but it's not caffeine energy. It's a totally different type of energy. Usually people feel this in a day. You should also, if you're having sleep issues, your sleep should improve almost overnight. Your sleep should dramatically improve, okay? So it'll feel like you're on coffee even though you're not taking any coffee at all, and there's no crash and burn. So the first week is 6 a day. Then we start going backwards, okay? So the second week is 2 in the morning, 2 at lunch, 4 a day. 4 a day. Third week, we then go backwards even more now. And then we go 1 in the morning, 1 at lunch, 2 a day. And then the 4th week on, 1 in the morning. 1 in the morning until you finish the bottle. After you finish the bottle, then we reevaluate. Is your condition improved? If you're fixed, you don't need to take it anymore, which is the ultimate goal. We're not trying to, be on a supplement for the rest of your life when you don't need to. Unlike a drug, where the medical doctor wants you to be on that for life. And then that usually causes other side effects, and you have to be on that drug, and then another, and then another, and another. So you get the deal, right? So here's the deal, though. However, if you are in a stressful situation that you cannot avoid, and again, things you can control, things you can't, we get that. And when we start backing it down, usually about a third week, if we start backing down and you notice your energy is starting to wean again, you notice you don't have that energy anymore, you notice your sleep is not where it was previously, then you might go back up to 2 and 2, 2 and 2, until that stress is under control. Okay? Until that stress is under control with this. So this is the most important thing about this, is taking it properly with the Adrena Max. But the people who do take this at this way swear by it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely. Any questions on that? Does that make sense? Yes.
I noticed on here it said if you have high blood pressure.
Yep.
It said proceed with caution.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, this goes back to what we have to say, that the FDA forces us to say with the FDA, and what the actual research is. So licorice by itself can raise blood pressure. We are using deglycerized licorice, which the research shows should not raise blood sugar. But the FDA does not recognize the difference between regular licorice and deglycerized licorice root. So we have not had any, typically we do not have any issues. In fact, this helps blood pressure, but we're forced to say that on the label with the FDA. Yeah, but again, just something to watch, basically, but we've never had anybody who it's actually raised blood pressure for.
I would hope, does that improve the blood pressure?
Yes, it does. This actually does improve the blood pressure, correct. So again, these are things that we have to say on paper that not everybody understands. But yes, great question. Any other questions about this? Okay. Okay. Now, obviously, the stress, we talked about that. Obviously, the diet, we'll talk about that a little bit more in the brochure. Exercise, all play a part in water intake. Okay. The other thing that I would just also want to mention here, and again, my PowerPoint's is slightly different than yours, but thyroid. If you have thyroid issues, which a lot of females in this area have thyroid issues, again, it puts tremendous stress on your adrenal glands. So if you're using our Iodine Plus, which is the #1 formula for thyroid, we would highly recommend that you use the Adrena Max along with the Iodine Plus, and you will get even faster, quicker results with the Iodine Plus if you use the Adrena Max with it.
It's on sale.
Yes, the Iodine Plus is at 50% off now. Correct. Okay, so the two go hand in hand. Your thyroid and your adrenal go hand in hand, are very, very closely connected and associated. Yes.
I'm on a Thyromin.
Okay. Thyromin, yes, same thing. So that's just a Douglas version for thyroid supplement. So Adrenal Max would also complement any type of adrenal supplement that thyroid supplement that you're using. Correct on this. Now, we do have some other complementary things as well for stress. Calm Day. Now, Calm Day works a little bit different. This is focusing on your brain. There's different neurotransmitters in your brain. Okay? So when you're stressed, there's usually an imbalance of serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. Calm Day rebalances those neurotransmitters. And this complements the Adrena Max. Okay, this isn't not in your presentation. I just wanted to show you about it. So this works, again, very quickly. This has a very calming and relaxing benefit. It keeps you focused. It does not make you drowsy. Okay, so that's something else that I want to mention. Typically, we start with 2 capsules. Most people notice this in 15 minutes. Some people, maybe a day or two. If you're under 100 pounds or you're under 12 years old, we start with 1. Okay, but if you take 2 for a couple of days, you don't notice it, bump it up to 3. But most people, 2 works really, really well. Okay?
2 a day?
2 at the same time, 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning. Okay? The only thing about this, if you're on an anxiety drug, okay, your anxiety drugs like Xanax or Valium, we would not recommend this. You can take this if you're on an antidepressant, but we would not recommend this if you're on an anxiety drug. So that's something else I wanted to pass it around there for you. B vitamins. Okay, so in the brochure, you see Super B Complete. The Super B Complete, we're still working on right now. We had a little technical issue with our manufacturer on the Super B Complete. So B vitamins also help with energy, also help support your adrenals, also help to support your neurotransmitters. So we do have 2 different types of B vitamins right now in place of the Super B. One is B complex, okay? Is it exactly the same as the Super B? No. Is it similar? Yes. Yes, it is. So this would be 2 a day. Or if you want something that's even better than the Super B Complete, would be our neuropathies. Our neuropathies. So I say this is like I always kind of joke, this is like a B vitamin on steroids. Okay? This is better than Super B Complete, and we've had people who've taken this that like this better than Super. This is the highest forms of B vitamins, and it's all your B vitamins. There's also some anti-inflammatories and also some minerals in this as well. And again, it's not in the paper. I'm just showing you some other options, complementary things to the Adrena Max for your adrenals. Pro oranges is also on a fruit and veggie scale. Pro oranges are also excellent. Okay, we have samples of this over there at the juice bar if you want to try it. This also is for energy, but it's not really like a stimulant, and also helps with balance out blood sugar as well. So anytime you need a little energy boost throughout the day, you can always take Pro Oranges. Are great before a workout as well, but that also helps complement your adrenals. And also lastly, if you do not like pills and you strictly want to do herbals in a liquid form, we do have an adrenal tincture, herbal tincture. And the way we would dose this would be 2 droppers full in the morning with a glass of water or tea or juice, and the same thing at lunchtime. Okay, so just wanted to mention a couple options, other things that we have available for you as well. Lastly, if we could pull out the brochure. Does anybody have those solutions brochures? The adrenal ones? What happened to those, that whole pile that we had? Are they back here floating?
I know we passed the back though.
Passed them back, now they're missing. Oh, here we go, thank you. Does everybody have these? I can pass that one to Bareback. What's that?
You said put this in what?
Water, tea, or juice? Yes, because those are alcohol-based to preserve it. That's called the tincture, herbal tincture. If you don't want to swallow pills or you have a challenge with pills, it's an herbal-based nutrient very similar to the Adrena Max, just in a liquid form already for you. Okay, so the Adrenal Solutions, we try to sum it up here, simplify the whole program right here for you. So if you open it up, so again, we're just giving you general dosages here. They're Adrena Max, the oranges. Again, the 2 options while we're waiting for the Super B Complete, the B complex or the neuropathies. There's the tincture. There's the foods. Okay, so foods always, always, always are extremely important for any type of health issue. So we tried to break it down for you, some general guidelines on what to eat. Okay, and what to avoid or minimize at the bottom. Stimulants, junk food, white flour, processed grains. Trying to avoid the stress, of course. Negativity from your life there as well. Yes. Try to avoid that. So there's the whole program, folks. But again, if you just were able to do one thing, it would be the Adrena Max. Any other questions? Yeah. Lutein. So again, that might probably is from the carotenoid family. So lutein would be again carrots. Yep, exactly. So again, lutein, orange, right. So
Maybe beets.
beets, trace amounts in beets. Yes.
Would it be your green also?
A little bit, but again, you're not going to get the therapeutic dosing like you would with a supplement of lutein. But again, that would be more eye issue and eye related. Yes. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah.
These supplements here, can you take them on empty stomach or with food?
Yeah. I prefer take it. It doesn't matter really, but prefer it on an empty stomach. Works a little bit faster. Yeah. Great question. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, folks. Again, everything heavily discounted, 30% off. If you're going to try this, now's a great time, right? I'll be in the back if you have any other health questions. We'll be back, but thank you so much for coming out today, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay healthy, stay warm out there. Okay? Thank you. Good night.